Hello and welcome to my first video on F125. Today we're going to be doing a league race here at Austria. This is on my own league, Amethyst Racing, which if you want to join there is a link down in the description below. But we are in Q2 here, on a pretty decent lap, a nice little banker lap on used tyres. Coming through the final few corners, a little bit of a correction there in the penultimate corner. Completely missed the apex of the final corner, but it should be good enough to just give us a little marker on where we should be. I was a long way off where I want to be, but like I say, used tyres and a pretty scruffy lap there as we see the fastest time as a 4.0 put down by the Ferrari of Shifu. We are currently around 8 tenths away from that time, so we've got some work to do, but don't worry, we'll be getting right back out there. We've got a full, pretty much a full grid here today. There's 15 people here in Q2 and there's 18 people on the grid when we start the race. Here we go then for our second run in Q2. Fresh tyres now into turn 1, and we've gone a little bit deep and we've gone wide. That's just awesome. Anyway, go around again. We got enough fuel for another run, luckily, because we are currently now in 8th, which you know, we need to be in that top 10 if we want to progress to Q3. So through turn 1, pretty decent. Still horrific compared to what we want to be doing through there. But by the second half of the lap, we are nearly 3 tenths up as we head into sector 2. Nicely done through there, held it in 5th. Didn't get the power down as early as I could. We hit the apex through here this time, using all that curb on exit, using a bit more battery now, up into the penultimate corners and the final sector. Here we go. No back end stepping out through there this time. A little bit of a correction into the final corner, but we do hit the apex. 8/10th improvement. And we do a 4 flat, which is a little bit away from where I want to be, but it should be good enough to get us to Q3, and it is. And here we are now in Q3, purple sector 1. This is a fresh set of tyres now. Decent sector 2, not the fastest though, and actually a little bit of understeer there through that corner as we come up to the final 2 corners once again. Chuck it in there, a little bit too much curb on the inside, unsettles the car, but nice through the final corner, back on the power, battery deployed, DRS open, and it's a 3.9. Still P2 and nearly 3 tenths away from Kiziel in the Sauber. He has been on fire all the way through qualifying. Been the quickest man in every part of qualifying, and we've got a pretty handy time there of a 3.65 to beat, and my PB around here is just under that. I think it's a 6.4. So we got quite the lap to put together here, but I'm going to try my best as we start our final lap now in Q3 on the run up to turn 1. Let's see, do we take this nicely? That is pretty much perfect, at least from my skill level, so we'll see how we do here. We're already nearly half a tenth up as we head into turn 3, purple sector 1. Chuck it into second, throw the car in. Not the best turn 3, I ran a little bit wide. I think the back end there kind of came a little bit loose as I turned in for the corner, which made me hesitate to get on the power and actually continue turning through the corner, but we'll try and recover this now through the second half of the lap. A little bit of a twitch there in turn 4. We're hardly up on our best time, which isn't filling me with a lot of confidence, but here we go now. Sector 2 into sector 3. Nicely done through there. A little bit of curb, but we managed to hold it together. And onto the final 2 corners now. We're a tenth and I think it's about a tenth and a half up as we chuck it in now to turn 9 and turn 10. Turn 10 could have been done a little bit better. We run just up to the track limits there. Nearly 2 tenths up, and it is a 3.7. It keeps us in P2 just for now. 800ths though to P1, and Kiziel then goes and improves on that time with a huge improvement of, I think it was half a tenth, but it keeps us in P2 with a 3.7. Now, as for strategy, I have no idea what is quick around here. I had a pre-season race the day before the race to kind of practice for the game. I had been on the game for about 2 weeks, so I'm just guessing here. It looks like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy, so I'm going to go medium, hard, medium. We're taking out a bit of fuel, and I need to remember to put my setup on after a lobby restart. Anyway, on to the formation lap now. You can see me and Kiziel on the medium tyres. The 3 behind us, though, all on the hard compound, which is pretty daring in a league race, because if there's an early safety car or something, you've got to then, you know, people on mediums want to go to the hards, run it longer, and then try and make the 1-stop work maybe. But here we go as we come through the final corner now to line up on the grid. We need to make sure we get a good slot here in our grid box. I don't actually remember if I do or not. Let's have a look, as Pre-run's been DSQ'd there. Here we go, up to the grid box. Where do I line up? It's... oh, pretty much, okay, bang on. Absolutely bang on. You can't get much better than that. So here we go then, as we wait for everyone to line up on the grid. We wait for the lights to come on, and they do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Austria. And it is lights out, and away we go. We get a pretty decent start there, better than the Ferrari behind us, a little bit better than Kvyat. It goes to cover the inside. I have no interest in trying to make a move in turn 1, lap 1, so we sit in behind, use a bit of battery there on exit. We've got a pretty decent margin to the Ferrari behind us, and we are catching Kvyat here, but I'm not going to go for the move. He does go defensive though, tucks into that inside line, a little bit deep from him as well, but keeps it together, gets a good exit, and we don't have to worry about anyone behind us trying to make a move. I do use a bit of battery here, probably a little bit unnecessary, but I was trying to put Kvyat under some pressure, make him burn a little bit of battery in this opening lap to maybe set up a move later on in the race. As we come from sector 2 now, not much changing behind us either. Still the Ferrari of Shifu in P3, Polendowski in the Alpine, and his teammate Anthony in P4 and P5. So we'll head on now to lap 2 as Kvyat sets the fastest lap, because I am quite close still, and I'm going to be looking here for a move. And the exit of turn 1 be right under his rear wing. Perfect turn 1 there for us, to be fair, with a dirty air. DRS now active. We fly past the Sauber. Not much of a fight, not much he can do though. And we'll save a bit of battery now into turn 3. Purple sector 1, of course. And there we go, that's move done, and we're now leading this race by just over 0.4 of a second. And it's not a big margin here around Austria, as I'm sure Kvyat would be right back on our case in a lap's time or so. And once again, not much happening behind in the Alpines of the Ferrari. And here we go, lap 4. Kvyat is now back on our case, tucks in behind us, but then darts back out onto the inside, goes a little bit deep, and we make a little bit of contact there, and that is me off track, and unfortunately losing a position there to Shifu in the Ferrari. We'll have a quick look back at what happened here. I mean, at first I remember at the time I was pretty annoyed about this move from Kvyat, as I thought, you know, it was pretty easy for him to have made that move, or even just sit behind me into that corner. But it does leave us a bit compromised here, with the Alpine of Polendowski going up the inside of us at turn 4. We are side by side though, all the way through turn 5 into turn 6 now. Side by side, I have the inside line. It's usually a little bit quicker, but he's going to get the good exit here into turn 7 now, and the outside of turn 7 is a bit superior, and it just gives you that extra bit of confidence to get on the throttle, and he does get the move done on us. And this is the one time I wish I listened to Jeff, because he'd warned me about understeer, and we get affected by understeer. The dirty air on this game is very brutal, and it loses us position to Anthony, and then a position to MKL in the Haas. But yeah, all that because of that move at turn 3 wasn't great. I mean, there's a bit of a mistake from me in the final sector as well. But yeah, that move in turn 3, I was a bit annoyed at it first, but it is what it is. It was hard racing. It was a bit unfortunate on my half, but that's how it is in Formula 1 nowadays. But it ends up that we stay in P6 now for a good few laps. This is lap 10. We lost, what was it, about 5 to 6 laps. We've been sat behind these guys, so I decide I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to go for an undercut. Because it's the only way now that I'm going to get back in this race in terms of fighting for a podium without having to sit in a train for lap after lap after lap. So we come into the pits, we select the hard tyres, we fly into the pit lane, and we just about slow it down in time. Change onto the hard tyres, nice quick stop, of course. And back out into the race we go. Now, I was a bit worried because you'll see here, this is the end of my outlap, and nobody from that front pack has pit yet. We are absolutely flying though on these hard compound tyres, but yeah, no one had pit yet, which kind of made me think, is someone, are they going to do the one stop? But luckily, at the end of the next lap, Kvyat in the Sauber, who I was racing, I think he was in P3 by the end of this, comes into the pits. We get very unlucky with some traffic here, and have to overtake into the final corner, but it worked out pretty well for us. We get DRS on the car ahead as well on this next DRS detection point, and there's Kvyat coming out the pits now. So a 1 lap undercut on Kvyat gets us around about 3 seconds clear of him after we clear this bit of traffic with Livingston here in the Williams. But yeah, into turn 3, you can see now we have a pretty decent margin to Kizyl, and he was fighting for the lead of the race as I checked behind myself just a few times. I don't know what was going on with me this race. I don't know if it's just this race. I don't often record myself racing, so I don't know why. I just seem to look behind myself every 3 seconds down the straight as we have a big slide there out of turn 1. But now everyone in that front pack, other than Anthony and MKL in front of us, has pit, and we are 3.5 seconds clear of Kizyl in P4. So we have a pretty decent margin, but after that slide, only, what, 3-4 laps on these hards now, and I could really feel the life in them starting to degrade. And in just a few laps, Shifu in the Ferrari is back on our case, back in DRS once again on the hard compound tyres. So his tyres were around about 3 laps fresher, 4 laps fresher than mine. So fair old stint from him to get back into our DRS. But these tyres already starting to feel a bit crap on this McLaren. And here we go now, lap 20. Shifu right up our rear wing. I kind of expected him to go for the move here, and he is going to go for the move here, deploying some battery now into turn 2 and turn 3. Up the inside, textbooks move, under DRS, and there he goes, the Ferrari up into the lead. I do try a switch back. We have a little bit of a traction issue there on the exit of turn 3, and we can't do much about it. So the Ferrari now in the lead of the race, but I was feeling pretty comfortable that I could stay with him and kind of drag myself back along in this race. And we were P6 in this train. We're now P2. So it's working out pretty well for us. Even with Polandowski on the mediums behind us, we are managing to keep him at bay and stick up with the Ferrari. So we have dragged ourselves back into this race with a really early undercut, but you can already see by lap 23, my tyres are over 60% worn already. So I am already thinking of a pit stop in this race, a second pit stop in this race. Not quite yet, but it is coming up. I'm going to have to run these tyres pretty long if I want to make this last stint work on the mediums, as they died off pretty soon as well. By lap 10 I was already over 60% wear. So Jeff's telling us to pit, or sorry, Mark is telling us to pit this lap. I don't think we are going to though. I think we're going to try and stretch this out one more time. I was kind of dependent on the Ferrari here to keep me pulling me along in this race, but my tyres are dead. They are so dead. It was like 70% wear at this point, and by the end of this lap, I think we're going to be looking near enough to the 80s here. As Polandowski now putting some pressure on us. He has got that 3-second time penalty though he's picked up at some point, so he is no longer a threat to us. We haven't got a warning yet, so I was pretty impressed with that for myself, to be honest. Not a lot of practice around here, and no warnings to my name. So here we go to lap 26 now. Polandowski did pit for the hard compound tyres at the end of that lap, and I am being warned by Mark that my tyres are about to explode. So with that warning, we pull into the pit lane for the medium compound tyres for what is going to be the last 10 laps of this race. Now, 10 laps on mediums, that is about what we did in the first stint, and they were looking pretty dead. So I needed to be able to look after these tyres a little bit, keep myself away from people attacking me, at least for the start of this stint. Keep the wear down, but unfortunately, we're going to come out the pit lane here, and the Haas here of MKL is right on our tail straight off the bat, and I've got to use a little bit of battery here to go defensive. I pulled to the middle of the track, but MKL goes super aggressive now, down the inside, into turn 3, gets the move done. We go for a little switchback here, a little bit of a snap on exit. I don't know if MKL used all his battery here, because we have DRS, slipstream, battery enabled. We're going to go super aggressive to the inside now at turn 4, down the inside of the Haas. Just slip it through on the inside, a little bit of contact made there, but no harm done. We have the shorter route now to turn 6. We're going to send it around the outside in 5th gear, hold our outside line, squeeze him to the inside. Perfectly done. We held him off for the start of this stint, but we have now got a little bit of a gap to Polandowski, but perfectly, Shifu comes out right in front of us on those medium compound tyres. So we have DRS now for the next straight. So Shifu has done hard medium, and he's only gone 1 lap later than us on this final stint. And obviously Polandowski, or Polandinski, he's changed his name. Either way, he did the hard medium strat, so he's been on his mediums now a few laps longer than we have. So me and Shifu here want to get past him because we know he has that 3-second time penalty. We don't know if he's going to play any games for his teammate in P7. So Shifu here getting a move on. Wing open, battery deploy. He's going to go to the outside line. We're going to go up the inside here. It's 3 wide into turn 4. We just about get it stopped before making contact with the Ferrari. And I originally thought that he had to avoid me in this move. But I actually think, looking back on it now as the replays play, it looks like he tries to go for a bit of a switchback on the Ferrari of Shifu. But because I was there, he couldn't actually get it done. And also, he gets a bit of a wash of dirty air, which makes him lose the back end there. A little bit of a correction as we come out of the corner. But there we go. We're back up into net P2. But as you'll notice, there's actually a bit of an issue because Kiziel has stayed out on the hard compound tyres. The guy that pit only 2 laps after me, or the lap after me, to the hard compound tyres. He's 10 seconds up the road with only 6 laps to go. So we need to get a move on here if we want to catch up and try and get the win of this race. As I go, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing there. I have no words. No words. Absolutely dirty driver. This was actually just insane. I don't know what I was thinking here. I think I was getting a bit desperate seeing Kiziel up there on the hard compound tyres. So my bad there for hitting Shifu. But we'll move on. I'm sure no damage was done to the car. We're both still in the race. Not much time was cost. So anyway, through the final few corners, we go on to lap 32. And I get my first warning of the race. Not ideal, but, you know, at least it's at this point and not, you know, 10 laps earlier. Anyway, on to lap 34 now, and we are no longer under pressure from behind, so I'm thinking now about an attack. I think me and Shifu thought, you know, this is now a battle for P2. I think Kiziel still being nearly 5 seconds ahead of us with only 2 laps to go. We both realised, you know, this is now a straight fight for P2 in this race. So I'm already trying to mount some pressure on, but unfortunately I just couldn't seem to get my battery charged in these last few laps. I think because I had the fight going on behind me as well. MKL was getting close, and before that Polendowski was getting close. I couldn't really charge my battery enough, so I'm going to spend this lap now charging as much as I can, but I'm sure that you can see Shifu doing the exact same thing just ahead of me, saving all the way through this sector. We've got the dirty air to play with as well. We can literally see Kiziel just a few corners ahead. There's a back marker in between us, but the lime green of the Sauber going through the final corner now, and we are just far enough away that he's going to be pretty comfortable on this final lap. So it is now all about me and Shifu for P2. We had a terrible run through the final corner, but here we go. This is our one chance now. Can we get down the inside or even get past him before we get to turn 3? Let's see. We are tucked into the slipstream, deploying a bit of battery there, sticking in 7th gear, now to 8th. We're going to look to the inside. Down the inside of the Ferrari we go. Just about get it stopped, but there's a bit of contact there as Shifu does turn in a little bit soon, I'd say. But, you know, he does probably just want to get us back for what we did a few laps prior. So it is all fair game. But now MKL on our tail, looking to take this P3 away from us, this podium away from us in the first round of this season. Tries for the switchback, doesn't quite get the run. He's also under pressure from Anthony in the Alpine, but he is going to look up our inside here. We're going to turn in just like we did a few laps ago, but there is a bit of contact made this time, and Anthony takes avoiding action. MKL has a big slide there. It is a little bit, I don't know, it's a bit on the margin about that move, but I'm sure he stays P4 in this race, and we have no chance of catching Shifu now. But Shifu isn't going to catch Kiziel either, so it is going to be Kiziel that wins out in the first round of Amethyst Racing. We're going to get home in P3. It's a bit of an annoying race for me because I really felt like there was more on the table for us in this race. Especially, we could have beat Ferrari. Kiziel, though, fair play, pulling off that incredible one stop. I have no idea how he did that because at the end of my first stint and the end of my second stint, I was in puncture territory pretty much. So I don't know how he's managed to drag that out, but he did. And he's put himself on the top step of the podium. We finished P3, just 2.5 seconds away from the lead. It was a really close race all the way through. I'm sorry to MKL if it was my fault for the contact, but it looked literally textbook to what we did just a few laps ago when I came out the pits. I've put those clips side by side since, and it looks like I'm on the exact same line, so it's just hard racing, I think, at the end of the race. But there we go. That is the first video on F125. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm really trying to make this into a weekly thing now. There's another Amethyst race tomorrow, which I will be taking part in Silverstone. So tune in for that on my Twitch, linked in the description below, and also tune in next week for the video that will be very similar to this one. But yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Ratty, and I'll see you guys in the next video.